What's up, YouTube? Welcome to your Uromastyx Enclosures. For these enclosures, we will include what they should have in their cage, how much stuff they should have in their cage, and how their cage should be built, and what size. This video is brought to you by Stride Gum, the sweet sensation inside your mouth. To start off, we'll start off with sizes for your Uromastyx cage. So, for a minimum size for your Uromastyx cage should be 4 by 2 by 2. So, the length across should be 4 feet, the width should be 2 feet, and the height should be 2 feet. Please note, for an Egyptian Uromastyx, it should be an 8 by 4 by 4, so length should be 4 feet, but this is for after it reaches 20 months. So the length should be 8 feet, the width should be 4 feet, and the height should be 4 feet. Just to verify that you guys know what it should be. For lighting, you're gonna want lights to the height of where your Uromastyx cannot reach to. If it does, it can severely injure or die, in other words, burn itself. You do not use mesh screen for underneath your light, so you can't put the light above the mesh screen, because for one, the mesh screen takes up 50% of a UVB light's rays, so it doesn't get as much lighting in there from the UVB light as it should. So for typical lighting in your cage, you're going to want a heating bulb and a UVB bulb. That's just a typical setup you could have. So the UVB bulb you can have on the cooling side, because you're going to probably want a cooling side and a warm side on your cage. So for the cooling side, I'd say for temperatures be between 80 and 90 degrees. Maybe you can go up to 95. And then for the basking area, where the Uromastyx mostly like to spend their time, be up to 110 degrees Fahrenheit or 120 degrees Fahrenheit. And for the cooling side, that's between 80 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit and then 95 degrees Fahrenheit, maybe, for that temp on the cooling side. So for the basking, you can go to 130. You can test that out to see where you're at. Right now, I'm still testing my bulbs right now. I got 100 watt in there. Probably the best in there would be a 150, but they've been seem fine with 100 watt, which gets up to around 107. I just put a thermometer inside the cage now and see if it gets up to a temp, or at least near around it, to show you guys. Like I said again, 130. Go ahead and test it, because I am not positively sure of if you want to go that high in your warmth. So now I'll show you. Oh, and also for your lights, you're going to have a vent near them, because the light bulb doesn't heat up as much. So I have a vent on the hot side, right next to the light bulb, and then I have a vent on the cooling side down below, so they can get their oxygen flowing through easily. So the oxygen would go through here, down, below, and up, because they have a little rock cliff they to sit on underneath the basking light. And you may think the light is too short from the ground, but it's not. They don't try to climb up and reach for it. They can stand up on their 2 hind legs, but they just choose not to most of the time. I got my Uromastyx Basil to stand up 2 hind legs when I fed her, which I thought was pretty cool, like a trick a dog would do. But yeah, so here's the setup on the cage I have in my lighting. Alright, so here's my cage. As I said, I have the rock ledge here that I like to sit on. So that's the cooling side right here, which really you have nothing on. All I have is this rock over here, their food dish, and a log that goes up there they climb up on, or they can just normally just climb up there. I just have that for decoration. And over here's just a bunch of sand. So here's my first vent. This is the vent on the cooling side, as it's down on the bottom. And my UVB light. Here's my sliding door. It's right up here. It's a bar bulb that reaches about right next to the heating light. So it pretty much covers the whole, almost more than half of the cage. And then, as if you didn't see, my heating light is up there. I know it's really bright. And then here's my second vent. My second vent, which is right next to my heating light. Oh, right there. So that gets ventilation through here. And as I said, the ventilation runs through the cage from here and like goes down here and goes right out there. So it's perfect for them. This cage is a little small, but my Uromastyx are like, I just measured them. They are 9 inches and something centimeters, I don't remember that. So this is a 3 by 2 by, I think, a little more than 2 feet tall. You can back up to get that. Up there's a little electrical panel with my 2 switches, but that's like that thin, so it's like nothing. So, and then the cage goes all the way down to here. Down here there's a plexiglass to keep the sand on, and the sand reaches like right here. So they have a lot to dig, and then under there. But yeah, we'll get to that more later. But yeah, so I'll show you the temperature of my light. And it's not really quite there, but if you guys can see that, it says 103.3 degrees Fahrenheit. Right there it says degrees Fahrenheit. But it normally gets up to like 107, 110 degrees, which is perfect for them. And when you hold the bulb up there, I was amazed. It gets up to like, when you hold the thermometer thing up to the bulb, it gets up to like 130 degrees right next to the bulb. A little more than that, which is pretty hot. So, again, that's my lighting system for the cage. Alright, so people are talking about inside the cage, should I get a heating rack for them since they're desert reptiles, or should I not? You should not get a heating rack, ever. Like, no matter what people say, never get one. It is a fact off of Eurowiki. www.eurowiki.com. Go there and get information. But yeah, heating racks are not applied to your cage because your Uromastyx, no matter what type it is, they don't have enough thermal sensors on the underside of their stomach, so like their whole stomach area, no sensors. So when you have one, the heating rack can get too hot and they won't feel it, and like the heat would literally cook the Uromastyx inside, and this can cause or lead to death or some serious burns on your Uromastyx. So you better watch out. Alright guys, so for sand, you just get normal like sandbox, playful sand for your cage. People sometimes say you should get calcium sand. I myself say you should not, because they can like sniff it in too much, and it could infect a respiratory system, and it can build up in their like their lungs, and they could like suffocate or die. But that's like just the way your Uromastyx can act, and this goes for like other reptiles like bearded dragons and geckos too. And so like you could get it, go ahead at your own risk, but I'm recommending not to get it for your Uromastyx. So for heating pads for your Uromastyx, they are not recommended. For one reason is because it's same applies to heat rocks, where it can lead to burns on their stomach if it gets too hot for the sand. And plus, if a heating pad, like, it goes across the whole underneath of the cage, you know, so you're gonna have it on the basking side and the cool side, and then they don't know which side to go because each side creates a cozy warm spot for them, so they'll switch to the cooling side and they won't get enough heat as they're supposed to get. Well, that's it guys for your Uromastyx enclosure and how it should be like. Tune in next time for the next video of what you should be feeding your Uromastyx. I'll tell you the different types of foods they can eat and like when they should eat them, and the 3 types main categories of food they should be eating. Thanks for watching Uromastyx Information. Please subscribe, comment, and rate.